Hello everyone, Paper and Moose. Today is a flea market adventure. I'm at a different flea market. I'm at the Golden Nugget Flea Market in Lambertville. I sell here a couple times a year. I like selling here. I don't have to bring my own table. And there's a good assortment of other vendors that sell here. But today I'm not selling, I am out to buying ephemera and anything else that is vintage that I like and that I think other people would like, or that I need for my personal collection, because can we ever have too much? Yes, I think we can, but we won't think about that. Let's get out there and see what people have to sell today. If you're thinking to yourself, that looked familiar, then you have a great eye. It's because that clip was when I was at the flea market a few weeks ago and I purchased 2 bags of ephemera. I looked through some of the ephemera, didn't open every envelope, didn't sift through every piece of paper, but what I didn't know is that inside of this bag was this. This envelope looks pretty plain, but inside was money. The first time I've ever found money when I purchased something at the flea market. You open it up and there's this letter, but not just any letter, a letter that contains cash and is signed by a somewhat well-known person if you were in the political history sphere. How much money did I find? I found 2 dollar bills. Now don't change the channel. Don't X out. Don't say, oh my gosh, this is such clickbait. It's not. I found money. $2. But it's not just any $2. It's $2 from, as I said, a political person. From Henry Fowler, who, if many of you don't know who he is, because I myself had to look him up and write notes, Henry Fowler was the director of the Office of Defense Mobilization when Truman was president. And he also served as the 58th U.S. Secretary of Treasury under Lyndon B. Johnson. What's interesting about these $2 bills is that they were contained in a letter that he typed and hand signed to a woman named Lucia Fraber, who worked for him as a secretary. The bills are ones that bear his signature, series 1963A. Let me read you the letter. It's dated May 11th, 1953, to Miss Lucia Fraber when she was vacationing in Treasure Island, St. Petersburg, Florida. Dear Lucia, I was glad to hear from Miss Faust this morning that she had a card from you spelling vacation in Florida. I hope that you enjoy it to the hilt and get all the good rest and sunshine that were absent during those long, difficult months we had in late 1951 and 1952. I should warn you of my own experience that a vacation is something almost as hard to get over as a long, hard grind on the job. In other words, although I returned from my vacation some weeks ago, I still have considerable difficulty in hitting on all fours. Although I am at the desk every day going through the motions, I find that I'm rapidly qualifying as one of the world's laziest men. One of the most pleasant and reassuring aspects of my return was to find the papers and files on our past assignment in perfect apple pie order. On several recent occasions when I've had the need to refer to the materials for information, I have been able to do so because of the very excellent job of organization which you did on them. I hope you will let me know when you return so I can express my thanks for this personally. Incidentally, I had a wonderful trip, and when you return from yours, please come into the office so that we can exchange vacation reminiscences. In the meantime, take good care of yourself. With best regards, I am sincerely Henry H. Fowler. Now, this letter was typed and the money was sent when Mr. Fowler was with the law firm of Fowler, Leva, Hawes, and Sigmundton. During his time when he was not serving with the U.S. government. But that wasn't Lucia's only run-in with politics. Lucia, pictured here, served in a political atmosphere for 37 years. She was a secretary with the Board of Economic Warfare under Henry Wallace, who she kept his delegate to the Democratic National Convention badge. He was supposed to be Roosevelt's vice president, and then some little things happened, and Truman ended up becoming Roosevelt's VP. But she served under him. She worked for several other Commerce secretaries, including Fowler, and then she retired in the 1970s to the agricultural field. Not only was she a secretary to Wallace and Fowler, but she received personal invitations to the White House to dine, garden parties, and afternoon teas with Mr. and Mrs. Truman, the President and First Lady. Sometimes it's not all about finding money. You know, I could put found money in safe. Okay, you found the money in a safe. What's the story behind it? These two $1 bills, though not worth much, they're not uncirculated, they have a story behind them. A story of a woman, Lucia, and her journey in the political sphere. If you can only imagine when she accepted those invitations to the White House to dine with Mr. and Mrs. Truman. You have Truman becoming president after the death of Roosevelt. You have the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You have the Marshall Plan, the Truman Doctrine. You have all these things going on, and she's just going to the White House and having a garden party. What conversations are had? What do they talk about? Did they ask her about her vacation? Did they ask her about her past political life? Did they ask her about, what she had for dinner the night before? Did they ask her, if some of you remember, about the scars in each palm that she had, according to her passport? Who knows what stories were told? But finding these items, paying $20 for a bag of paper, and coming across stuff like this is why I love ephemera. It's why I love history, and it's why I love sharing all these things with you. Sometimes it's not about, the money that you can make off of an item. A lot of times it's about the personal stories behind it. Who were the people that these things belong to? What were their stories? So I hope you continue to watch. I put together a little presentation that shows a little bit closer look at some of the documents, especially the passport and the invitations to the White House. Did I ever think I would get an invitation to the White House? No, but I found some in a bag of ephemera. You just never know what you're going to stumble across at the flea market, including two $1 bills and some political history behind them. So I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. If you have any comments about, all this ephemera in regards to the political aspect, then please drop a line in the comments. I'm always excited to learn more about everything that you all know, because it just adds to my knowledge. So when I'm on the hunt for paper, I can put that in my knowledge bank maybe come across something else that I find spectacular. So stay tuned for the presentation. Hope you enjoy this. And yes, I finally did find money. Only $2, but the history worth more than that.